So it is way past midnight, and my eyes are practically burning out of my skull. But I cannot stop thinking about General Hospital, and specifically this whole absolutely insane situation with Drew Kane. Because right now, Drew is living an absolute nightmare. A literal waking nightmare that just makes my skin crawl every single time I think about it. Just typing that out makes me feel exhausted. You know how sometimes soaps do these over-the-top storylines that make you roll your eyes and just laugh at the screen? Well, this one is actually terrifying. Because Drew is trapped. He is totally locked inside his own body. And it is all thanks to Willow, Kane, and Jen's Sidwell. Which is just wild to even process when you really sit down and look at the history here. I mean Willow. Really? And Sidwell is just this massive looming threat providing the means to make it happen. So here I am chugging day-old cold coffee and trying to make sense of this whole messy plot. Because fans are losing their minds over it. And honestly, I am too. It is just so bleak right now. But maybe that is the whole point. Still, I need to dump all my raw, unfiltered thoughts out on the page before I crash. Because this storyline is taking a massive toll on my sanity and I need to vent. And let us really talk about the sick, twisted mechanics of this whole setup. Sidwell is providing Willow with access to this insane paralytic drug. A drug that perfectly mimics a massive stroke, which is just diabolical on a level I can barely comprehend. And the absolute worst part of it all, it is completely undetectable in Drew's system. So any doctor or nurse who looks at him just sees a guy who had a tragic medical emergency. They don't see the poison. They don't see the foul play. They just see a tragedy that they can't fix. And Willow is the one doing it. She is actively participating in this horrific abuse, drugging him into this locked-in state, giving him these regular ongoing doses to make sure he can't move a single muscle, can't speak a single word, can't do anything but lie there and exist in pure agony. It is so twisted. And Sidwell is just pulling the strings from the shadows, supplying the means and watching it all unfold with that smug look on his face. It makes you sick to your stomach, because Drew is just lying there, awake, aware, but entirely paralyzed. It is the ultimate form of torture, and they are getting away with it right under everyone's noses in Port Charles. But Drew hasn't just been passively taking it. He has been trying to fight back in the only way he physically can. He has been trying to alert people to the trouble by blinking SOS, which is such a desperate and heartbreaking thing to watch. Just think about it. You are trapped in your own meat suit, and your only lifeline is the movement of your eyelids. And he has been trying so hard to get someone, anyone, to notice the pattern, to realize that he is in there and screaming for help, but he hasn't been successful. The blinking SOS attempts have failed. People just think it is involuntary muscle spasms or just the sad reality of his condition. And it is so frustrating to watch as a viewer. You just want to reach through the screen and shake the doctors and yell at them to pay attention to his eyes. But nobody does. And the isolation of that must be crushing for Drew. To be screaming silently and having the whole world just ignore you. And of course, Sidwell knows exactly what Drew is trying to do. Because Sidwell is a monster, but he isn't stupid. He basically warned Drew that his messages were completely futile. Sidwell actually stood there and told him that raising red flags would only lead to a grim fate, which is just a chilling threat. Imagine being completely helpless and having your tormentor lean in and whisper that if you try to escape, they will just make it worse. Or maybe they will hurt the people you love. Drew can't move or speak thanks to the drug doses he is getting regularly. So he can't fight back physically. He can't punch Sidwell in the jaw. He can't run away. He has gone from being this frustrating, villainous jerk in recent months to a total victim in this storyline. And that is a massive whiplash for the audience. Because let's be real, Drew has been a real piece of work lately. He has made plenty of mistakes. He has alienated people. He has been a flawed character who made some truly terrible choices. But nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves to be medically tortured and locked in their own mind. So the narrative has completely flipped. It has been nice to see a more vulnerable side of Drew, to perhaps even have some genuine sympathy for him again. Because stripped of all his bad decisions and his ego, he is just a terrified man who wants his life back. He is a victim of a cruel and unusual punishment, and the writers have successfully made us root for him again, just by putting him in the most helpless position imaginable. But here is my biggest gripe right now. The absolute main thing that is driving me crazy as I sit here typing furiously: we need to hear him. At some point, the show needs to let Cameron Matheson record some dialogue so that we finally hear Drew's thoughts, because Cameron has been doing an excellent job of showing emotion with his eyes. He really has. The panic, the anger, the despair. It is all right there in his micro-expressions, but it is not enough. Viewers deserve a little more insight into what is actually happening inside Drew's head. Drew has been silenced thanks to Sidwell and Willow's scheme, but that absolutely does not mean fans shouldn't hear what he is thinking. We need the voiceovers. We need the inner monologue. It is a soap opera staple, for crying out loud. Let us hear the man think. In the coming weeks, maybe viewers will finally get a taste of what has been going on inside Drew's brain, and I am praying that they do, because it would be so incredibly satisfying to hear Drew plotting revenge on Sidwell and Willow, just lying there looking completely blank, but internally he is fuming over his current circumstances. I want to hear the rage. I want to hear him mentally cataloging every single time Willow injects him. Every single smug comment Sidwell makes. I want to hear him building a hit list in his mind, planning exactly how he's going to tear their lives apart the second he can move his fingers again. That is the kind of soapy drama that keeps us hooked. The quiet, seething promise of vengeance, and it wouldn't just be about anger. It would also be about heartbreak, because the betrayal here is staggering, especially from Willow, someone he trusted, someone who is supposed to be family in a weird, tangled way. I want to hear Drew's internal monologue questioning how she could do this to him, how she could look him in the eye and push that plunger down, how she could leave him trapped in the dark. The emotional weight of that realization must be tearing him apart inside, and we need to hear it. We need to hear the exact moment his confusion turns to absolute cold hatred, because that is the fuel that is going to drive the rest of this storyline. But there is another massive motivator here, and that is Scout. Scout Quartermain! His daughter. Perhaps we could also hear Drew wishing he could comfort Scout and vowing that he will find a way out of this mess for her. Because Drew really does love Scout. He wants to be a father to her. And right now, Scout is living this totally isolated existence under Willow's control, which is a whole nother layer of messed up. Scout is separated from her brother Danny. She is separated from her grandmother Alexis thanks to that ridiculous restraining order drama. And Willow is just using the kid as a pawn. Drew has to know this, or at least suspect it. And the thought of his little girl being controlled by the very woman who is poisoning him, that has to be the thing that keeps him fighting. Scout will undoubtedly be a big motivator for Drew when it comes to fighting his way back to a stronger version of himself. Because he can't just give up and die. He has to survive for her. He has to break through the paralytic haze and wake up so he can save his daughter from Willow's toxic web. I want to hear him in his mind talking to Scout, telling her to hold on, promising her that Daddy is coming back. That is the emotional core of this whole nightmare. The love of a father trapped in a useless body fighting against the darkness just so he can hold his kid again. If the show gives us those voiceovers, I swear there won't be a dry eye in the house. It would elevate the entire plot to Emmy-winning levels. And then of course payback will be the other motivator. Because you can bet Drew wants Willow and Sidwell to go down for what they have done. And I don't mean just a slap on the wrist. I mean he wants them destroyed. This story needs a vengeful Drew twist that would change everything and help fans get excited about what is to come. We are tired of seeing him as a helpless victim. We want the payoff. Bad news could be brewing for Sidwell and Willow once Drew finds a solution. And he will find a solution. Because this is Port Charles and nobody stays locked in forever. Eventually the drug is going to wear off, or someone is going to figure out the truth. Maybe someone will finally notice the SOS blinks. Or maybe Drew's sheer force of will is going to burn the paralytic out of his system. Whatever happens, the moment Drew twitches a finger is going to be explosive. and Sidwell's hubris is going to be his downfall. He warned Drew not to raise red flags, but Sidwell underestimated the sheer stubbornness of a man who has nothing left to lose. Drew is going to bide his time. He is going to listen to every word they say around his unconscious body. He is going to gather all the evidence he needs while they think he is just a vegetable. And when he finally wakes up, he is going to have them completely dead to rights. It is going to be glorious. And Willow is going to realize too late that she backed the wrong horse. She is going to have to face the wrath of a man she tortured for months. So yeah, I am exhausted and my spelling is probably terrible right now, but I don't even care. Because this Drew storyline has so much potential if they just execute it right. General Hospital spoilers say some Drew curveballs are in the works, so stay tuned. And you better believe I will be tuning in, even if it means more late nights and cold coffee, because I need to see Drew King get his voice back. I need to hear those thoughts. I need to see him tear Sidwell and Willow apart piece by piece. The foundation is laid for one of the best revenge plots in recent GH history. They just need to pull the trigger and let Cameron Matheson loose. Let the man speak. Even if it is just in his own head for now. Give us the inner monologue. Give us the rage. Give us the vengeful father fighting for his daughter. That is the soul of soap operas right there. And I am entirely here for it. Even if I am practically falling asleep on my keyboard right now,